some peace of mind. But TikTok said a gator drove a Jeep through the blinds. Florida man's at it again with fireworks and a goat. And someone married a ghost in a Dollar Tree coat. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is going on? Aliens dancing in a Waffle House song. Karen's got a taser in the checkout line. And Dr. Oz just adopted birds to fight off crime. Oh, I'm just sitting here scrolling, my jaw on the floor. The internet's a circus and I can't take no more. Yeah, when it's wildin', there's a raccoon in the sink. Someone robbed a Wendy's just to steal a frosty drink. A pastor's gone viral yelling about the end is near, while folks ride hoverboards in wedding gear. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is this mess? Florida's a movie, but it's filmed in VHS. Someone fed meth to a squirrel named Dave, and now he's in a cage just throwing rave. I'm just
Good morning, everyone. I don't know what it is this morning. I don't know what got into my Wheaties, but I have been imbued since like 3 o'clock with the hysterical manic energy of at least 500 squirrels that have all had Red Bulls. So I have done this like interesting pattern. Mr. Mo is just exhausted watching me. But basically, I've been cleaning things up. But if you've ever had ADHD cleaning, you like pick up something from one place only to realize that this second place is now a mess. So I have gotten like 9 places 10% clean, which, doesn't look like a lot. And I am so sorry, Debbie Webb. I am so, so sorry. And hopefully we can give you something to think about, but you do have a safe spot and, a place to hang out when you don't want to think about things. So I am so sorry to hear about that. It's such a strange thing to want our loved ones to be at peace, but also not want to lose them. It's such a weird grief. So I am so sorry for that. Our first story, if you've been living under a rock, well, then you might not know that the UK, England in particular, experienced what is possibly, well, not by any of the current media over there, but is something that was suspected at the time of the occurrence to be possibly a tea attack or a mass casualty incident. Definitely happened in England. A British man has been charged over a mass stabbing attack on England train. And here's what we know so far. Now I'm guessing Steph the Alter Nerd and the Black Belt Barrister, GB News and Sky News have more complete, kind of all around coverage of this. I am from the Midwest of America. I don't know a whole lot about the UK personally, but this has been a story that I've been keeping an eye on. A man has been charged with 10 counts of attempted murder over a mass stabbing attack on a British train Saturday evening that targeted passengers as they traveled through central England on their way to London. Now, the attack left 9 people in need of treatment for life-threatening injuries, one of who is still fighting for his life in hospital as of late Sunday evening. And I haven't seen any updates yet that changes kind of at least that very critically injured patient's status. Now, British Transport Police, or BTP, are calling this a major incident, but press and media coverage has been very careful, and there are different publication rules in the UK. So I definitely recommend going over to like Steph the Alter Nerd or the Black Belt Barrister. Even Lotus Eaters might have more, and maybe a bit better understanding of what can be said with the latest sort of information. Now, the man charged has been named and identified as Anthony Williams, 32, of Petersboro, and will appear in court on Monday. He will be further charged with 1 count of actual bodily harm and 1 count of possession of a bladed article in connection to the mass stabbing in Cambridgeshire, according to the BTP. Yeah, sorry. Now, the man was also charged with another count of attempted murder in connection with a separate incident that had happened earlier on Saturday at Pontoon Dock Station in London. Police workers are working to determine a motive, but previously said that there was no evidence to suggest that the attack was terror-related. Now, the high-speed London Northeastern Railway, or LNER, train departed from northern city of Doncaster at around 6:25 p.m. local time on Saturday, bound for London. Now, the train had just left Petersboro Station in Cambridgeshire when the attack took place. Passenger Wren Chambers told the BBC she initially, quote, heard some screaming and shouting coming from a carriage or two down before a man ran down the train with a very clear wound, bleeding heavily from his arm. Now, after seeing more people running past her, Chambers decided to grab her coat and bag, got up and moved forward down the train after them, trying to get as far down the train as she could. Now, people were fleeing through the carriages, seeking safety, with some attempting to barricade themselves in train toilets, while other witnesses saw train seats soaked in blood. So this was a mass attack. Defensive, any sort of defensive accoutrement, mace, anything like that is verboten in the UK. So I have seen sort of news things where some of the victims that were on the train were looking amongst themselves to kind of MacGyver defensive things to in case of this attack. So I suspect that we're going to get a lot more information about this. But it is just a harrowing thing. Now, police received their first emergency call around 7:42 p.m. local time and immediately deployed armed officers. Now, within 8 minutes of that first call, 2 initial suspects were arrested after the train made an unplanned stop at Huntingdon Station, where one of the suspects was later released with a full kind of mention in the media that he was in no way related to this case. So he has been taken off as a suspect and he was not related. So do want to put on there that right now they are only looking at one suspect. Now, there is footage I can't show you guys because I'm not a real media of the armed police response to this. Again, go check out UK News. They've got a lot more on this. And we're not going to get a whole lot. Again, the publication news in the UK is much different. So I will try to keep you updated. But as of right now, what we do know is that this is not being hailed as a targeted T attack, and we don't know motive. Hopefully we will get more of that at the end. That being said, check UK sources for more UK specific sort of news with this, because I don't know all those answers and I don't want to give you the wrong impression because it's not my, it's not my ballywick. I don't quite know. Now, I did not have this on my bingo card, but what in the Walmart rapture? I mean, I think it's a little cliche to say maybe it's Satan, but I got no other words for a Monday headline like this. An ex-TV anchor stabbed her elderly mother to death on Halloween to quote-unquote save herself, says the cops. As you do. Now, this is what she looked like before. This is her mother, and this is her mugshot. Filters can be dangerous. Let's dig into this. What in the world? It's a Monday. We couldn't just, start with an easy set of headlines. A former morning show anchor in Missouri allegedly took her mother's life, stabbing her to death on Halloween, then told 911 dispatchers she did it to save herself, according to local outlets. Now, neighbors in the quaint neighborhood of Wichita, Kansas, said that they were traumatized after Angeline Mock 47, staggered out of a home shortly before 8 a.m. Friday, soaked in blood. There was a woman who approached our vehicle with blood, like her hands were filled and her body was filled with blood, asking for 911, said Alista Castro, who lived in the neighborhood. Now, Castro told the outlet that Mock took her phone and bolted back inside, where she called authorities and claimed that she had stabbed her mother to save herself, according to Sedgwick County dispatchers. Now, Anita Avers was the victim. She was 80 years old and found with multiple stab wounds, and the attack seemed to have taken place in her bedroom. She was on her bed. So I don't know how we're going to do self-defense. I mean, now authorities with the Wichita Police Department arrived, and Mock was waiting outside with a series of bloody cuts all over her hands. Now, Mock's 80-year-old mother, Anita Avers, was found unresponsive in her bed with multiple gashes and stab wounds. She was rushed to a nearby hospital where they did all they could to try to save her life, but unfortunately she passed shortly after she arrived at the hospital. Now, Mock was taken into custody and booked at the Sedgwick County Jail for first-degree murder, where she is being held on a $1 million bond, according to the sheriff's office. I'm getting a pen so I can write down when she has her hearing, because what in the name of Hades in a handbasket is going on here? Now, police eventually gave Castro's boyfriend her phone back. Castro, though, was just grateful that they were able to help this entire situation. Like, we never know what anyone's going through. This happened randomly, but as long as we're able to, get 911 and see what we can do, that's all I really care about. So Castro is the woman who gave this young woman, covered in gore, a phone because she just unalived her mom. Good night, nurse. And this is what she used to look like when she was on the local news. Now, Avers was a marriage and family therapist at Wichita Counseling Professionals, and her husband confirmed this to the outlet. Mock worked so Avers, the mother, was a therapist who worked with couples. Now, Mock used to work at KTVI, Fox News, as a morning and evening fill-in anchor from 2011 to 2015, according to her LinkedIn profile. Then she hopped between different sales jobs in the Gateway City through August 2017, before taking a 2-year hiatus from the workforce to switch to data management companies with at least 5 offices in the Midwest, including some in Wichita. So I have no idea what in the Hades in the handbasket is going on, but I will be looking into this case, because what in the Hades in the handbasket is going on with this? Now, a former NFL star's son, University of Alabama defensive back, has been arrested during the team's bye week, which I didn't think it would be spelled like that. I thought it would be bye like B-I, but I guess it's not the right bye. Anywho, I'm not a sports ball person, but I'm a true crime person, and I'm a name and shame person, so let's dig into this. Now, a son of a former NFL star and University of Alabama defensive back, Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., was arrested over the weekend during the Crimson Tide's bye week, which I guess means they don't play, or they say bye to people. Like, they're like the reverse Vikings between the Jeff and Nicholas thing. They're like, bye-bye. Kirkpatrick Jr. was booked into the Tuscaloosa County Jail on Saturday for 3 counts of reckless endangerment and 1 count of attempting to elude and speeding. So he decided to drive like a jackass. Wonderful. The sophomore defenseman was later released on a $1,500 bond after being arrested. Now, an investigation is being handled by the University of Alabama Police Department, and authorities have not released the details about Kirkpatrick's arrest, other than, I'm guessing, the body cam footage is going to be hilarious. We are aware of the incident involving Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., and we're working to gather more details at this time, said a University of Alabama athletics spokesperson. Now, Kirkpatrick Jr. is the son of former Alabama standout and All-American Dre Kirkpatrick Sr., who played for the Crimson Tide under legendary football coach Nick Saban under 2019 to 2011. And I said all those words and don't understand what they mean. Now, that being said, I don't know a lot about this, but this is going to be something that's probably being brought up. I don't know what it's going to do for his attendance into other games, but if you are into the sports ball, this might be something that you need to know. Well, now this is something that I'm definitely going to be making a standalone video about because I do want to get a little bit more into pop culture, but it does look like we have a big Stranger Things drop. It looks like Millie Bobby Brown has filed harassment and bullying claims against David Harbour. Now, considering that David Harbour said he wanted to punch half of us who don't believe politically the way he believes or what have you, Oh, and thank you, Stinger Bell. Saban. Okay, that makes sense. That being said, I mean, this could be very, very volatile considering that the final kind of penultimate season of Stranger Things is coming up, and I'm guessing they do not want any bad negative publicity. So I definitely wonder if this is going to be something that is going to blow up. So I really don't care. Hollywood people yelling at each other about being mean as they're pretending to be other people doesn't really bother me that much. But I do think it's going to be something that a lot of people are interested in. Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown has filed a lengthy complaint against co-star David Harbour ahead of the filming the show's 5th season. Now, this doesn't make sense because I thought the season is already slated to come out. So is this something that they've held back until the almost premiere of the new season? I don't know. It just seems weird. Now, the Daily Mail is just reported. Now, Brown plays 11 and Jane Hopper on the Netflix series and was said to have included pages and upon pages of accusation. Now, the news was exclusively reported Saturday by the British newspaper The Wrap, and requests for comments have been sent to Netflix and series creators, both Matt and Ross Duffer, and reps for both stars, but have not been returned as of yet. Now, a person with knowledge of the situation, so any person with a hot take who's not going to put out their name, but there you go. Hey, said that Millie Bobby Brown filed a harassment and bullying claim before they even started shooting last season, and there were pages upon pages of accusations, and that the investigation into it went on for months. Now, Harbour reportedly faced an internal inquiry, the outcome of which is unknown. Now, the Mail said none of the complaints were Epstein or Weinstein in nature. They weren't, creepy grossness, just like I'm a dill hole jackass. Seems to be the general flavor, like it was a-hole, not creepy, disgusting a-hole. Now, Harbour and Brown are gearing up for the release of the 5th and final season of Stranger Things, along with the rest of the show's cast. And the accusations came just days after Harbour's ex-wife Lily Allen released her latest album. I don't know. I don't know who Lily Allen is. Kind of stopped at the Alanis Morissette and just stopped there, which heavily implied that David Harbour might have cheated on her. Again, don't really care, but I do want to see how Netflix is going to respond to what could possibly be a very damaging claim of, harassment and bad attitude in kind of their penultimate sort of independent product coming up, Stranger Things, a really big kind of juggernaut for them, how this is going to work. And if we can get the actual paperwork, I might look into that. But that being said, I have no dog in this fight other than, please, Duffer Brothers, bring Eddie back. I mean, that's where I'm really pissed off. I think the entirety of America needs to bring Eddie back. That being said, I don't really have a dog in this fight, but it is probably something that is going to be a big thing, depending on how it disrupts the numbers for them, if it, decreases sort of the buzz for this. This is a big thing. You're going to start seeing a lot of Stranger Things, merch and that kind of stuff pop up. And are these negative, stories going to have an impact? I don't know. I'm just a redhead on the internet. But, it is a question. Now, America had its answer for a mass casualty event, unfortunately. A mass shooting has left 9 injured during an Airbnb party in Ohio. A house party in Ohio Airbnb became a scene of a horrific crime after 9 people were shot, including children, teens. Now, gunfire erupted at a short-term rental home in Bath Township around 12:16 p.m., or I'm sorry, a.m. PM would have been in the afternoon. This was after midnight. Nothing good happens after midnight, or really good things happen after midnight. There is no in between. I wouldn't take my chances. Now, police officers were dispatched to the scene according to reports, and there were reports called in of gunshots. First responders discovered a combination of adults and juvenile victims at the party and performed life-saving measures, according to Chief Vito Spinoli in a press conference. Now, of the 9 injured, 3 were taken to Summa Health, where 1 person was admitted, and 2 others were later released. Now, the 6 others were hospitalized at the Cleveland Clinic, but further details about their injuries and kind of their prognoses is unavailable. Now, investigators found that the shooting occurred on the first floor of the Airbnb, which was scattered with shell casings. However, no arrests have been made at this point. Now, the gathering was advertised on social media, and following the shooting, the street was jammed with cars stuck in traffic as they tried to flee the scene, according to the police chief. Now, the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation and the Bath Township Detective Bureau are working together to try to find out who's responsible for this. It does kind of seem like a big old Halloween house party that maybe was getting a little rowdy, and it didn't seem to have a whole lot of parental, overview. But a lovely house. Like, if I was going to, have a party somewhere and invite more than 3 people, this is the kind of house I would want. I'd want a lake there but that's just me. Now, the police chief did note that his department is exhausting all resources and is urging the community to come forward with information and for witnesses to come forward, even if it's only a small piece of information. This kind of violence is unacceptable in our community, and we're committed to providing all available resources to this investigation. Now, the police are in contact with the homeowner and confirmed that Bath Township prohibits Airbnb rentals. So now the homeowner is screwed. Nothing like doing a little under the ground rental, trying to do a little side gig economy, like passive income, and then to have your home become a crime scene, and that to be, you can't hide that. Now, a spokesperson continued to talk about the measures that, they are taking to look into this, and, that Airbnb doesn't condone, violence and things like that. However, I will be on the lookout for more information should we get any more about that. When we do get like the very kind of early and first sort of reports on things, they tend to be a little bit muddled as kind of the fog of war. So if there are updates on this, I will definitely bring those forward to you guys. Well, just in case you were wanting to bring back the good old-fashioned American road trip, another close call between a Southwest plane and a medical helicopter is being investigated. I mean, less than a year after we had, a military helicopter run into a commercial jetliner, it seems like we almost had it happen again. Now, I'm not in any way spatially coordinated or directionally, sophisticated, but you would think the people that are able to do that would have some sort of technology. I mean, we have Roombas, for God's sake. Can't we figure out how to make planes, and things in the sky not run into each other? I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, if I can figure out Control Alt Delete, I figure, computer smart people should be able to figure out something. The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board said on Sunday, November 2nd, it was sending a team to investigate an October 29th close call between a Southwest Airlines jet and a medical helicopter near Cleveland Hopkins International Airport in Ohio. Now, the NTSB said that the two aircraft experienced a loss of separation, meaning they came closer to each other than the required minimum safety distance when Southwest Flight 1333 was making a final approach on flight between Baltimore to Washington International Thurgood Marshall Airport. This prompted the Southwest airline pilot to abort the landing. Now, Southwest said that the Boeing 737 was able to make a safe landing a short time later, so they simply went below the minimum safety requirements for distance, but this is something that should not happen. These are sort of foundational kind of rules to keep people safe in a busy airport. Now, the NTSB and Southwest did not disclose the number of passengers or crew aboard the affected airliner. The helicopter appears to have been transporting a patient at the time of the incident based on how it was identifying itself to air traffic control at the time. Southwest said in a statement on Sunday that it appreciates the professionalism of our crew in responding to the situation, and we are engaged with the NTSB and will support the investigation. Now, a representative for the medical transportation company did not respond for a comment, so there might be one out there soon. But it does look like they are going to look into this and figure out what happened and maybe make sure that a close call like this doesn't happen again. So hopefully, fingers crossed, still not taking an airplane in a while if I can help it. Well, in an interesting update, I didn't cover this, but last week the FBI came out with sort of the claim that they had stopped a very big mass casualty event that was supposed to happen in Michigan. Well, the defense for some of the suspects caught up in that are trying to put a defense out there. So I wanted to get a little bit of the other side. Now, I have not personally dug into this story, so I will be doing that at a later time. But it does look like the defense is getting out there early to say that the FBI made all of this up. A Michigan lawyer is saying that the Halloween terror plot that FBI Director Kash Patel described was farcical or never existed. So basically, he is trying to say that this big kind of laudable, we caught him before anything happened thing is a big facade. Now, this is the defense. I don't have a dog in this fight yet. I usually tend to wait for the trial, but I did want to see sort of the other side. A defense attorney in Michigan is disputing FBI Director Kash Patel's allegation that his 20-year-old client and 4 other young suspects were planning on carrying out a mass casualty event on Halloween weekend. Announcing their arrest on Friday, Patel said that more information would be coming soon. However, FBI and Michigan authorities have offered very few details about the case. This is fairly normal when a case is under investigation pre-trial. We will not get a lot of the information out until there are court filings and documents. So I would suspect that it's going to be a long time before we hear a whole lot of concrete details. That being said, this is the defense getting out ahead of this. Now, spokespeople for both the FBI and the U.S. Attorney General in Detroit have not made any, statements as of yet to clarify or give out any more information. Now, the investigation involved discussion in an online chat room involving at least some of the suspects who have been taken into custody, according to 2 people detailed on the briefed on the investigation who could not discuss public details publicly. They spoke to the Associated Press on the condition of anonymity. Now, the group allegedly discussed carrying out an attack around Halloween, referring to Pumpkin Day "Oh, not Turkey Day," according to one of the people. Now, the other person briefed on the investigation confirmed that there had been a pumpkin reference. However, lawyer Amir McLeod, who represents a man from the suburb of Dearborn, who is still detained as of Saturday, said that federal authorities have not given him any details about the investigation, but after reviewing the matter, he concluded no mass casualty planning was ever happened, or basically that was not what was being planned. He said he doesn't expect any charges to be filed. "I don't know where this hysteria and fear-mongering are coming from," McLeod said. Now, to play devil's advocate to Mr. Amir, I'm going to say that usually the feds, tend to not go ape over people unless they are really trying. I say that, but then, the governor, maybe he has a point. At this point, I can't really say. At this point, I need to see what was going on. He described the all-male group of American citizens as gamers and said they range from age between 16 to 20. If these young men were on forums that they should not have been or on things of that nature, then we'll wait and see, said Amir, but I don't believe that there's anything illegal about any of the activity that they were doing. Now, authorities said Friday after the arrests were made that there was no further threat to public safety. Now, Patel announced on a post on X that the FBI had thwarted a potential mass casualty, incident and arrested multiple subjects in Michigan who had allegedly been plotting a violent attack over the Halloween weekend. Now, investigators allege that the plan was inspired by, an Abrahamic religion of which I will not name because, reality. Take your pick. There's 3 and I'll take away 2 choices. It wasn't immediately clear, according to the very scant details that have been let out, whether if these group of gentlemen who were, whatever the discussions were, if they had the means and ability to even act on their sort of plans, whatever they were. Now, Patel credited the vigilance of the FBI along with local authorities with thwarting this plot. Now, that being said, I want a whole lot more, information about this before I take a side. I want to see, information and unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a little bit for this. Now we get to the what in the Walmart rapture part of this story. The headlines, the internet ridiculousness that I wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning to bring every single one of you because caring is sharing, and if I find the absurd, I bring it to you. So let's get our little stinger for this and we will get going because, with some of these stories, we need a whole lot of final form Jesus.
The G-Keep's grove, thou glowing shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, final form Jesus return in wrath. With 6-pack glistening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
I just don't know what to make of this headline. WWE star Chelsea Green said she was promised a free hotel stay, but that was pulled after being mistaken for an escort. I saw the headline and couldn't stop pulling it up. A glamorous WWE star who said she was mistaken for an escort by a luxury hotel chain has lashed out after having a promised free hotel stay rescinded. Chelsea Green, 34, made headlines last year when she claimed that she had been removed from the plaza in New York by security who believed that she was a lady of the evening. Well, could you blame them? After the inaugural WWE Women's United States Champion blasted the establishment on social media. She received a personal apology from the general manager of Fairmont Hotels and was offered a complimentary 2-night hotel stay for her, well, I guess her smonstitute label that was inaccurate. Her inaccurate, labeling of hodacity. However, Green claimed last week that Fairmont Hotels had rescinded the offer. Fairmont Hotels offered me a 2-night stay anywhere after calling me an escort, lol. Now they're taking it back, she wrote on X. She then shared an email she'd received from an assistant at the Plaza, which is part of Fairmont Hotels, in which they explained that Green had indeed been offered a free stay, but it was only for their Vancouver location and it had already expired. Regrettably, we're unable to change the location on the certificate as this was honored by our sister Fairmont Pacific Rim in Vancouver and is a non-transferable, trip. In addition, I regret to inform you that the validity of this certificate has since expired as it was only valid within 12 months of the issued date. Hodacity doesn't pay. Furious with their response, Green wrote on X, "You can't make this ish up." Now, the Canadian Star then said that she didn't want to accept a free hotel stay in her hometown of Vancouver. They booked it for my hometown hotel, even though they told me it was for anywhere in the world. Who wants to stay at a hotel when they could stay at home? She replied to a fan on X. Now, poking fun at the situation, Green then shared a gif of Julia Roberts in Pretty Women and wrote, "Your girl just wants her free stay at Fairmont's hotel for being called a hooker. Is that too much to ask?" Now, the Daily Mail has tried to contact the Fairmont Hotels for a comment. During the original incident, Green was in New York to film WWE's Raw at the Barclays Center and was planning to meet a friend for a drink at the Plaza Hotel. Now, the pair intended to dine at Fifth Avenue Hotel's Champagne Bar before heading to Broadway for a show just 4 days before WrestleMania, as you do. However, their plans were ruined by a hotel staff member who forced the wrestling champion out of the 5-star establishment due to her attire. Well, if it barely, covers your hoochie-majooch, I'm sorry, you're in a classy place. If you are paying market rate for bougie sparkling water, I don't want to see your hoochie-majooch, okay? I just don't want to. I mean, you have lovely pins, you have great gams, ma'am, but I don't want to see it. That being said, I mean, this is much less hodacious than a lot of other things I've seen Cardi B in. So, but I don't understand girlness. Like, I feel all the, boobalicious in this, and I don't even look like an e-thought. So, there you go. Now, Green, who is married to former WWE wrestler Matt Cardona, claimed that she was denied entry to the iconic Manhattan hotspot as the staff believed that she was an escort. They reportedly accused her of being, a sexual worker due to her outfit, a blue denim skirt, a white off-the-shoulder top, and a black blazer with brown knee-high boots. I don't care. Okay, well, you do. Okay, if you look, I don't know. You probably paid $500 for that Coochie-Magooch skirt, so I don't know. Honest to God, I don't know. I don't know girl stuff, so I don't know if this is too hotastic for a fancy place or not. You couldn't get me into a bar in New York and... Fair point. I don't understand. You are not the Rosa Parks of hodacity, okay? I understand that you want to, do that. Apparently, in women who are also unable to read a room, I don't know who needs to tell you this, high school teacher, elementary school teachers, but you don't need to have pleather pants on. I'm just saying this. Like, you don't need to. No. This is not what you're supposed to look like if you're a teacher. I'm done with it. Do not do this unless you want a crazy looking mo come into your teacher. I'm just saying, you know what you're doing, you young teeny bopper teachers. I get it. Look, if I had those thighs and no cellulite, the lycra you would see, but I'm not shaping young minds, okay? So that being said, how about you stow your pleather pants for when you go to see, Billy Idol? instead of when you're supposed to be teaching my son algebra, okay? Because like you're hot. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm no shame in your game, but I don't need my son to be seeing that you're wearing a G-string, and I'm pretty sure I can see your IUD. Those pants are so tight, so stop it. Now, y'all, I don't even know. I'm just glad that I pissed off deer, okay? Because some man pissed off some flippin' elephants and they came back for more. The elephants returned and took his life. Like, first they broke his leg and then they took his life. Babar doesn't forget shit, people. I would just like to remind you that elephants never forget, and apparently they make sure that you pay your debts, okay? So next time we see Dumbo, maybe we need to be careful. Wild elephants broke a man's leg in a sudden attack, and then days later they returned, or no, they returned the same night and took his life. I mean, again, I'm going to need you to keep one eye opened because apparently the elephants do not forget. A man lost his life in a wild elephant attack while working at a logging site in Malaysia. Sahid Jahari, 43, was found, dead by his co-workers the morning of October 29th in the Gua Masang district of the northern part of the country, per local news outlets Malay Mail, Free Malaysia Today, and The Vibes. Sik Chun Fu, I am going to get in so much trouble. The superintendent of the district police said the attack occurred in two parts. Sadi, who was the site supervisor, and 5 co-workers were sleeping in tents when they heard and smelled elephants approaching in the evening of October 28th. Sikh said in a statement. Now, the loggers ran into the woods for safety, but Sadi was unable to escape in time. Now, the other workers returned several hours later and found Sadi with 2 broken legs. Now, they brought the victim inside one of the communal homes for temporary protection. However, not long after, a bull elephant, believed to have been the herd leader, returned and attacked them again. The workers fled again and left Sadi behind. Okay, why would you leave your friend behind? Like, you can't build a leader, or, like, you just left him to face the revenge of Babar? That's cold. Now, after the area calmed, the group returned and found, unfortunately, the victim was no longer there. Now, the search had discovered that Sadi was deceased on an exit path with severe injuries, consistent with being dragged and trampled by an elephant. Fair point, Audio Coffee. I blame the loggers, too. Stop logging. Find a field, plant trees, and I'm sure we can do this sustainably. We've had a bajillion years. We know that bamboo, grows super duper fast. Why don't we make all toilet paper and all paper bamboo? I really don't understand this. That being said, I know that we need wood for all sorts of other products, so I'm not saying I'm the super smartest person, but could we keep the elephants, happy? JKD Buck, Mo, if an elephant has a hate boner for you, you're effed. They're absolutely capable of hate, like whales and Raiders fans, yes. I mean, to be fair, actual boomer, I'm not sure that I would try to be a friend, but on, personal and, I'm going to look on personal and very selfish calculations. Someone with a broken 2 legs is the only person that's going to be slower than me. And if a rampaging elephant is coming, I have to be mindful of my own athletic abilities. That being said, be nice to elephants and all animals. Now, authorities cited that the Department of Wildlife and Natural Parks have been notified and are working to find and contain the herd, per the outlet. People did reach out to the Royal Malaysian Police and the Department of Wildlife and National Parks on Sunday, November 2nd, but have not received immediate response. Now, while speaking with the Vibes, an outlet in Malaysia, Sadi's younger brother, Sulaiman Jahari, 32, said the last time he had seen his brother was during a holiday celebration. I did not expect that that would be our final meeting. Usually he was quiet and did not talk about work, but during dinner he was really cheerful and lively. Now, Suleimani additionally said that his brother had worked with the logging industry for about 30 years, though he had only worked at this particular site for about 2 weeks. This area was newly opened for logging. During all his years in work, he had never spoken about encounters with wild animals. So just leave animals alone. I think that's kind of what we're getting at. Now, if you've got a few pennies lying around, just a, cool 3 mil or so, maybe you can get a couple of these. A private collection of iconic TV show costumes has sold for over $3 million, including Batman and Wonder Woman ensembles. And here I am without winning the lottery. One of the most important private collections of iconic TV show costumes has achieved $3.2 million in sales. The highlight of Dr. Stuart Berkowitz's legendary collection saw the original Adam West Batman and Burt Ward Robin costume ensembles together fetch a remarkable $575,000. The Heritage Auctions offered more than 300 pieces from the New Jersey-based oncologist and pop culture collector treasure trove of screen-used television costumes, props, and vehicles from the 1950s through the 1970s. So that's pretty cool. I mean, he's got all the original stuff and costumes. His wife must give him looks like Mr. Mo gives me when I look at, wigs. Volstorm, I know, right? And thank you for being a member for 4 months. I might need the Wonder Woman costume for Diva. Diva would make an excellent Wonder Woman, except we need to stay away from her when she has the lasso of truth, because, then she knows where all my Halloween candy went. Other notable sales included Linda Carter's Wonder Woman costume that sold for $225,000 and Cesar Romero's Joker outfit from Batman that sold for $212,000, along with the Bat Scanner receiver prop, which sold for $150,000. Now, the accessories and costumes were from beloved series and also featured predominantly with Yvonne Craig's Batgirl costume and Henry Winkler's Fonzie jacket from Happy Days, reaching $87,000. Now, further, let's see here. Oh, there was also Julie Newmar's Catwoman costume that went for $68,000, and William Shatner's Captain Kirk Starfleet uniform that went for $62,000. Joe Medellina, executive vice president at Heritage Auctions, said, as one of the most comprehensive and passionately assembled collections of vintage television memorabilia ever brought to market, this auction represented a lifetime of love for these shows. That is awesome. I mean, that's pretty cool. Dr. Stuart Berkowitz passed away in March 2024 at the age of 64, leaving behind a collection treasured by fans and fellow collectors alike. The sales highlights were kind of the ones that I've already covered, but we've also got, the Batgirl outfit and Captain Kirk's outfit. So there you go. I mean, good collection. I don't have any money. I don't have the money to do this or get any of those, but that's pretty cool. A tennis court-sized Ozzy Osbourne pumpkin mosaic broke Guinness World Records for Halloween. This is Batty. A British farm honored the Prince of Darkness fittingly for Halloween and broke a world record. Sunnyfields Farm in Southampton paid homage to Ozzy Osbourne, the late Black Sabbath singer, by arranging hundreds of their homegrown pumpkins and squashes into his image to earn the title of largest Curbita mosaic, according to Guinness World Records. Now, the over-the-top creation, which features the late Black Sabbath frontman in his signature shades with bats flying around him, is a staggering 2,281 square foot size, which is about the size of a regulation tennis court. When the record-breaking mosaic made its big reveal, Osbourne's longtime wife Sharon and their daughter Kelly joined in the celebration. The farm posted a video of the making of the masterpiece on Instagram with his debut hit Crazy Train in the background and the famous rocker's quote, "I can't do anything in moderation," as the caption. The fans of the godfather of heavy metal, who passed away in July at the age of 76, could not believe their eyes. What a great tribute to the legendary Ozzy Osbourne. Unbelievable. Thanks for doing this. Ozzy Forever, wrote another. Wonderful. I bet Ozzy would have gotten a kick out of it, and maybe he has. So, that's kind of cool. I would not have the time to deal with that. Well, apparently some people did have the time to run and deal with their costume, because here are several of the wildest and more spirited costumes that were spotted during the New York City Marathon. Now, who would decide to run and be happy about it? I don't know, but there are people among us who do run for fun. An estimated 55,000 runners from all over the world showed up bright and early this morning with numbered bibs secured to their chest and running sneakers laced to run the New York City, marathon. Why? Let's just look at the costumes because, aw, Gumby? No. SpongeBob? Okay. MetroCard? Yeah, no, just not. A pinata? Or ABBA? Wow, that's bright. Okay, these are, guy dressed up as Rock. I don't know who that is. Some other guy? Look, it takes a special kind of person to run a whole long time. So I say, that's a whole little, I'm just thinking your thighs are gonna rub. Yikes. Anywho, so yeah, if you like to run, apparently you can. I'm not gonna do it. You can't make me. I refuse. Well, if you've ever been thinking in the middle of the night, which one of Elizabeth Taylor's husbands was the best at the bedroom? Well, wonder no more, because apparently we're about to learn. I know, curing cancer, global climate change, no. But who was the best in bed of Elizabeth Taylor's multiple husbands? Hey, these are the information and factoids that I need to know on a Monday morning. Elizabeth Taylor's closest friend is revealing which of her 7 husbands was the best in bed. Come on, Lassie. No, wait, that wasn't one of her husbands. Come on. Oh, I got Alf. Elizabeth Taylor's closest friend is revealing the intimate details about the, screen icon's love life. A new docuseries, Elizabeth Taylor, Rebel Superstar, which was executively produced by Kim Kardashian. Oh, well, this is going to be nothing but cringe-hilarious. Apparently has reignited interest with the legendary actress's storied romances. Now Vicky Teal, who shared a lifelong friendship with Taylor and served as the late actress's stylist, has named which of the star's 7 husband was the best in bed according to Miss Taylor. Now, Teal told People magazine that Taylor's favorite lover was Richard Burton, who claimed the late acclaimed actor whom the actress married and divorced twice after first falling in love on the set of 1963's movie Cleopatra. So apparently, it was the guy from Cleopatra. That being said, I don't remember all the guys she got married and divorced from, so I was like Gumby, Cheech and Chong, Jeff Goldblum maybe. But there you go, now we know. In case you were worried, in case it has been keeping you up at night, we have the answers. I don't know why. In a puppy kitten, a fluffy creatures update that I think will make us all rest at least a little bit, I do have an update for you. Rest assured, it's a puppy kitten break or maybe a monkey break.
When the world feels like a dumpster dive and humans forget how to thrive, take a break, just you and me, with a puppy and kitten, wild and free. Paws and purrs, let's drift away to a land where tails wag and play. No more noise, just gentle muse in our furry four-legged cruise.
Well, a Mississippi homeowner has found a missing rhesus monkey. Yes, we have an update, for unto us has come the final monkey. We may not be living in Raccoon City. A rhesus monkey missing in rural Mississippi was found Sunday, according to authorities searching for the last few primates that escaped from a crashed truck, hauling nearly 24 of them nearly a week ago. Now, the monkey was found by a homeowner on their property in Heidelberg. Hey, I saw Outbreak. If your kid says that they're talking to a monkey, believe them. Okay, we saw Outbreak. No need to bring in Dustin Hoffman. Now, the animal is now in possession of the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks, according to the Sheriff's Department, which added that it had no further details about the monkey at this time. Now, the search does continue for 2 additional monkeys that escaped Tuesday when a truck transporting 21 rhesus monkeys crashed along a rural stretch of a Mississippi highway. Now, following the crash, the sheriff's department said that 3 monkeys were still missing. Now, authorities initially stated that the animals weighed about 40 pounds and posed a potential health threat as they allegedly carried hepatitis C, herpes, and the coof. Now, it turned out that they didn't carry any of those things. So there you go. Now, the Jasper County Sheriff's Department recanted this statement, saying that the truck's driver had stated that the animals were infected. However, Tulane's National Primate Research Center, which had supplied said monkeys to other research organizations, said the primates in question were not infectious. So they were just aggressive monkeys. They weren't at least infected. I mean, there you go. So at least one of them. So Brad Pitt, we need you. That's just what we need. Now we have come to the naming and shaming, and God, do we have the greatest name and shame first, and then buckle your seat belt for the rest, because when Mo picks a naming and shaming on Monday, apparently the dregs of human corrotation decide to show up. So buckle your seatbelt, you guys, because these are some rough stories. But we name and shame because, you know, in reality, justice and getting these trials through takes an enormous amount of time. And you know, we like to bring these cases out because we can't physically watch all these trials, but we can try to at least get some naming and shaming going on. So let's bring in our friend Lord Chippy for some naming and shaming today.
They're our skin, they steal our grace. These monsters wear a human face. No gavel, no badge, no throne, no crown can stop Lord Chippy from burning them down. Justice ain't fast, justice ain't clean. It's a long, sharp road through the in-between. So raise your fists and light your flames. Chippy's coming and he don't play games.
Now, first, the fact that this heifer isn't in the La Brea tar pits being fossilized for some future civilization to deal with shows a great, restraint of our due process and criminal justice system. Because if I were queen of the universe, that's where this heifer would be hanging out. But right now, currently, she's still in prison. The end. She's still in prison being an absolute insufferable swamp monster donkey butt monkey, but apparently that's where she is. Where is Susan Smith now? Well, as I covered earlier either this year, I do believe it was this year, she did try to get parole. And I believe I covered the hearings. It is on the Petty Express, I believe. This heifer tried to decide that she had repented enough. The parole board saw through her, but she does have the right in 2 years to try to reapply for parole. That being said, she was also found to have been trying to string along several internet boyfriends to pay for her, release. So she did get a whole lot of, disciplinary. So she's still the malignant, narcissistic C word that she's always been. There's your update. Y'all, it is too simple to say maybe it's Satan, but y'all, criminals in this country benefit greatly from due process and non-emotional and statutorial justice system, because let's just say Empress Mo wouldn't, allegedly in Minecraft. An 8-year-old was found no longer living in a cooler filled with ice after his mother, father, and grandmother, so it was a family freaking affair of felonious assault, took his life basically after a long period of time. Into the center of the sun, encased in carbonite with a cactus inserted somewhere, allegedly in Minecraft. A California woman and man who were called mother and father, but let's just say monsters, are accused of taking their life and torturing their 8-year-old son with the help of the boy's grandmother. Now, the trio had allegedly taken to storing the boy's body in a cooler with ice afterwards to kind of defray the smell, I guess. Quote, the horrific abuse that Isaiah endured is made even worse by the fact that, as alleged, it was at the hands of the people who are meant to love and protect him, said Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan J. Hochman at a press conference Friday announcing the arrest of Destiny Harrison, Daniel Monson, 25, so both of them are 25, and Anya Carmino Zenseo, 45. Now, all three individuals face charges of murder, torture, and child abuse, resulting in death. Now, Monzon and Zareno, who is the boy's paternal grandmother, are also charged with being accessories after the fact. Now, the group is accused of causing willful harm to the child, identified as Isaiah H., resulting in his no longer being alive. Now, 3 more children, aged 16, 13, and 9 months, were also found at the Linwood apartment where Isaiah was found deceased and taken into protective custody by the LA Department of Children and Family Services. Now, neighbors told the outlet that they would see Harrison walking their dog and picking up the other children from the school bus, noting that she seemed like a calm, normal person, according to the residents. Neighbor Christian Torres told a local NBC affiliate that he would see the children at home and they would come outside and play with their mother watching them. She would always be out there with her dog, and she would smile and say hi, and nothing was out of the ordinary. Now, according to prosecutors, Isaiah was allegedly tortured over a long period of time before he eventually succumbed to his injuries on October 24th. Now, his body was found days later, just filled in a cooler with ice, the DA's office said during its release. Now, the cause of death has not been released, and I'm guessing they have to wait for the autopsy and the medical examiner. Bail? What are we talking about? Bail for Harrison, Monson, and Zarquino has been set for $2 million for each of them. Why do we even need to set a bail? No, you're staying in jail. You're staying under the jail. You're staying in the basement of the jail. Now, if convicted, they all face 32 years to life in prison if convicted. I don't want to commit to this trial, but this is horrific. If this is something that is streamed and I have the time for it, we might take it in smaller bites, but this is grotesque. This is an unimaginable and horrific tragedy, said Los Angeles County Supervisor Janice Hahn in a statement. My heart breaks for what the other children in this home must have experienced, and it's critical that our Department of Children and Family Services do everything possible to support them and make them safe in protective custody. So this is definitely going to be a heavy case. This is something that we are not going to get a lot more of the details. This is just, this has just happened. I will try to keep lookout for hearing dates and things like this, but this is just the initial. We have found out about this. They have started doing search warrants and things. So I will definitely keep an eye on this. Just gross. A missing 13-year-old girl was found stuffed in a box in a man's basement after meeting him on Snapchat. A Pennsylvania man met with a Louisiana teen on Snapchat and convinced her to travel to his home more than 1,000 miles away under the guise of getting her adopted by a quote-unquote trusted adult. Now, he then kept the 13-year-old in his basement, stuffed inside a box and covered with a sheet, where he essayed her repeatedly for days while she was in his captivity. She was groomed, exploited, and then abused by strangers who found her online, said Louisiana's Attorney General Liz Muriel in a statement on Facebook about the Kaishan Crumney's alleged victim. Now, I'm guessing Kaishan is this person up here. Now, Crumney, look, I don't care. Kaishan, I don't care. Allegedly, you're a gross human being who lured a 13-year-old. Like, I'm not going to worry about if I mispronounce your name. You get due process, which is a lot more than a lot of people want to do, allegedly, in Minecraft. Now, he is charged with trafficking individuals, statutory SA, involuntary deviate SA, selling or furnishing alcohol to a minor, according to police. Now, he is one of 3 suspects who are accused of help facilitating this alleged trafficking. So this was obviously organized. So there might be even, kind of conspiracy being added to that later. Now, police say that the victim first traveled from Louisiana to Georgia, then to Washington, D.C., before arriving in Pittsburgh with an adult woman, according to a New Orleans local affiliate. On October 30th, 2025, the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police Special Victims Unit received a report initiated by the U.S. State's Marshal that a juvenile victim from Louisiana was at an address in, Pittsburgh's Brighton Heights neighborhood. Now, the FBI had obtained a federal warrant for the residence, which was executed by the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police SWAT, and authorities found the victim in a basement in a box covered with a sheet. Now, the girl had been reported missing for a week and told investigators that Keyshawn had given her alcohol and the devil's lettuce edibles while essaying her multiple times a day until she had been discovered. Now, authorities believe that the man who worked with, Keyshawn to introduce her first drove her to Georgia. The girl allegedly took a Greyhound bus from there to Washington. This is just one example of the dangers of social media and human trafficking, Muriel said. So definitely keep in touch with your teens. This is not to scare you or be mainstream media, but stories like this remind us how easy it is for kids to think that they can get into a better situation. We remember when we first saw the internet, when we got the AOL CDs in the mail, that we all understood that people on the internet were lying. And now it seems like we all trust people from the internet now. So hopefully this young woman, this young victim, is getting the support, counseling, and comfort she needs. This is a nightmare. Now, neighbors told a local, news affiliate that they saw SWAT, FBI, and the U.S. Marshals entering the home and rescuing the victim. Investigators reportedly tracked her through her online activity, which had showed her in Pennsylvania. I saw a girl who looked very small being pulled out, said a neighbor. It's scary, another one told the local outlet. It's crazy and unnerving, they added, and I'm glad they got the guy. Now, authorities are holding Crumney over the weekend in Pennsylvania's Allegheny County after he's been denied bail. Now, at least one of the other suspects, a Ronald Smith, 62, from New Orleans, was arrested in Georgia and charged with simple kidnapping and contributing to the delinquency of a juvenile. So I expect as they dig deeper into this, this is going to be a case that's going to lead to multiple, indictments and a possible bigger network. This does seem like it was fairly organized, just with the amount of people that this unfortunate child was kind of moved through. This does seem like it's more organized. I do worry, Georgia doesn't seem to be very good at making, conspiracy cases stick. So hopefully whoever is assigned to this is doing a really good job so these monsters, get their due process, but stay in prison and away from us. Now, this mugshot meets the headlines and I say, seems about right. That being said, this is more of a reminder that when you're out and about and you're, just doing stuff, keep a look on your six. The world is crazy out there. Don't go to the Moe extent of never leaving your home, but do keep your head on a swivel because creepy guys like this guy are apparently just out in Target waiting for us to go home. A man followed a cute woman and her young child home from Target to try to kidnap her, according to police. A man is behind bars after he spotted a cute woman at a Missouri Target and decided to follow her home. Don't do this. Where he attempted to kidnap her as she held her young son. Joshua York, 30 years old, is being accused of second-degree kidnapping, stalking, and endangering the welfare of a child, according to court records looked at by Law and Crime. Now, according to a probable cause arrest reviewed by Law and Crime, the victim and her 2-year-old son entered a Target in Springfield around 1:30 p.m. on October 15th. York was already in the store when he saw the woman and started to follow her around. The victim checked out and got into her car before driving to her home. Now, York allegedly followed her to her home. The victim arrived at her complex and began taking groceries into her apartment as her son slept in the car. Now, I'm going to tell you as a mom, I always took my purse into the home because screw groceries. I'm going to get my kid my most important thing. But that being said, if, the kid is sleeping, I do understand the whole desire to let the child sleep and maybe get the groceries in. That being said, I was always so paranoid that I always took the kids in first. Not that I think on, upon having youngest most feral that the kidnappers wouldn't bring him back immediately. That being said. Now, as she was taking the groceries in, keeping an eye on her son, she started to feel like someone was watching her on her last trip. She grabbed her son and had this feeling like she should look behind her. And that's when she spotted York, who was allegedly squatting behind a parked car right next to her. Now, York then started to walk toward her and the victim yelled, "What are you doing?" He then tried to grab her and pull her toward the parking lot. The woman started to scream like a mad woman and fought back while holding her son. He allegedly pushed her and her son to the ground before running away. Now, a witness who was out driving in the parking lot heard a bloody murder scream and got out of her car to investigate and saw the man running away from where the scream had initiated from. She saw the man hop into his SUV and speed off. The neighbor said he heard a scream and grabbed his force multiplier before going outside to see what was going on. He said he saw the victim and her son on the ground, and she pointed to the SUV that was fleeing the scene. Now, surveillance video had captured the license plate and the sort of description of the man, and he was later stopped at a gas pump wearing a shirt for a JY Executive Auto Detailing, a business that he owns. You would never try to kidnap someone on a Ring doorbell in your own GD shirt. Thank God for the thinking enthusiast criminal who apparently decides to wear all of his identifying details while doing a felonious assault. Where in the world? Now, York was arrested Thursday and in an interview with detectives, he allegedly claimed that he was at Target and had sparked a conversation with the victim, telling her she was cute. He said that the woman invited him to her apartment, but once they arrived, she changed her mind and asked him to leave. I'll take things that never happened for $800, Alex. This upset York, who then demanded $20 from her. As you do when someone invites you to their home and then stands you up, the $20 refusal fee is established in Emily Post. When she refused, she started screaming, York claimed, and he left. Now, cops say that York was previously accused of harassing an ex-girlfriend and was accused by another girlfriend of having women's underwear under his bed. So he seems a little bit of the sus. I mean, and with a mugshot like that, I'm going to go ahead and say profile. If you're in a Target and you see someone like this looking at you like he's looking at you, from Home Improvement, Wilson's Next Door, I'm just say keep your head on a swivel because apparently you can't even go to Target without weirdos. I don't know what to make of this. A woman suspects a break-in after finding her toilet paper replaced. Now, I don't pay enough attention to my toilet paper, other than that would be a miracle if anyone in this house other than me or Mr. Moe replaced a toilet paper instead of leaving that, cardboard toilet wrapper, on there like a monument to, decay. It all started with a roll of toilet paper, or rather the sudden appearance of one, when Mabry Martin got home one afternoon. The last thing she expected to find was that someone had replaced an empty toilet paper roll she left behind that morning. What began as confusion quickly spiraled into panic and later a viral TikTok that millions couldn't stop watching. I am so freaked out right now, Mabry tells People of the moment, laughing as she looks back on the day. This morning I used the last of the toilet paper, but the extra rolls were still boxed up, so I figured I'd deal with it later. When I got home and saw the toilet paper replaced, I thought I was losing my mind. Her first reaction wasn't amusement, it was fear. I literally felt like someone is in here, and I remember exactly where I put the toilet paper roll thingy, and there was a stick broken off inside from when I painted it, and I saw the stick this morning, and now it's gone, so I know I didn't do this. Now, with her husband away and home security cameras not working, the situation felt even stranger. I tried to check out my cameras, she recalled. The batteries were dead or something, and my husband hasn't been home, so I'm sitting here thinking what's going on. As her mind tried to race through to make sense of it, Colby's best friend lives next door, but why would he come over and change toilet paper? She asked hypothetically. I was like, if I did this and didn't remember, I'm checking myself into a mental institution. Now, the moment rattled her so much that she couldn't even eat. Just call the man and see if he... So, okay, But in an effort to calm herself and maybe laugh about it, she turned to TikTok. To be clear, I've had like 10 people watch my TikTok, so I'm posting this to 10 people, and it's not anything whatsoever. But apparently her catastrophizing as to who, came into her house to replace the toilet bowl wrap roll is a common thing and got up to 15,000 views in the first day. As comments rolled in, the internet's theories took on a life of their own. Everyone thinks my husband is cheating on me, or that didn't cross my mind. I was dying with laughter over the whole thing. They're telling me to check his phone. The video, intended as a harmless story, became an overnight phenomenon. My husband's friends were calling him, reading through the comments. We got such a kick out of it. People online can make anything sound scandalous. But the truth was far more wholesome than any of the viral theories. My mom's friend sent her my TikTok while I was at the gym. She was like, "It's probably your sister." So we checked her location, and sure enough, she had come home from a doctor's appointment, said hi to our dog Oscar, went to the bathroom, and left. Okay, so this entire thing is your sister came to your house to take a poo. Interesting. That being said, how did this become an entire story? I mean, not that I'm saying anything, but there you go. Well, if you're feeling a little bad because you might have raided the Halloween candy, in our final story of the day, this squirrel, no, this is not the squirrel. How dare you say it's a squirrel and it's not the squirrel? This squirrel feels your pain too. That is the biggest squirrel I have ever seen in my entire life. That is a damn dachshund. That is not a squirrel. That is Squirrelzilla. But apparently it's eating the pumpkin and not feeling body shamed whatsoever. It is a pretty stupid story. I mean, that is the happiest squirrel, but that is also the fattest squirrel ever. So today is going to be exciting. I have got an out in the people land date with Mr. Mo. We were supposed to do it this week. Apparently making frames, like actual picture frames for stuff, is a lot harder than, I just told Mr. Mo to go get some baseboards and we could make, bougie frames for all of my cross stitch. But apparently he doesn't have like the glass makery dealy thing. Apparently making frames is a lot harder than I thought. I thought you just took some baseboards, you glued them together, you used some math, got some glass. I figured that was all there was to it. Well, apparently there is a full like gajillion steps to it or something. And Mr. Mo told me to pick one of the things and we're going to get it professionally framed. So I picked my biggest piece. I think it was one of my first ones when I first got hurt. So we are going out to get this professionally framed and do all that jazz. And then I am going to be filming a video about how to pick your first cross stitch project for my craft stitch stream and what you need and all of that. And then new this week, Cosplay Wednesday. By tomorrow, I should have a costume couple ideas, and then you guys will be able to pick. And then every Wednesday we'll just have dress up, because I kind of liked last week, but every day was a little much. So definitely Wednesday cosplay. Yeah, well, that's what did he have a giant wheel? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're supposed to. Audio coffee, I find that it relaxes my squirrel brain. Like I said, I have had the internal, like I finally know how youngest, most feral feels. Like sitting still, I'm like bouncy and jumpy and I can't quite sit still. And cross stitch seems to do that for me. In fact, I'll be making a couple of videos today for my craft channel because I have boxes of shame. I have finished projects. I have 2 boxes of craft kits, cross stitch of shame. I have got so many boxes of shame. So we are getting that. I am this close to starting the actual crafting, set. I just need to find the power cords for things after I've moved everything everywhere, which is not happening as well as we'd like. That being said, I hope you have a lovely day. I haven't seen anything from Megan, so I don't know if we're having a Megan thing today. That being said, I absolutely slept through the one that we were supposed to do on Thursday, I think, or Friday. Let me see who is going on today so I can send you over to someone. But we are... No, that's not what I want. I love that I'm a professional. I think Baker is on today. He's usually on because he's like never sleeps. Yes, he is doing the Matthew Paul Body in the Woods Day 5 Part 1. So I am sending you over. Oh, I guess... Yes, and I should be back working on some videos today, but I will not see you much today other than videos. I may have some if pop news or something live goes down. I do feel like all froggy today to cover it, so we might have some possum, reaction stream. Definitely with all of the crazy news, wanting to do a couple more fun stuff and pop culture kind of stuff. So we might be doing more of those. Have a lovely day. Thank you for joining me on this Monday morning. I get to go out and be where the people are. And for some weird reason, I'm like kind of excited about it today. It's a whole new world. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but have a sassy mouth and carry a can of bitch fire, because we don't know how long this, feeling froggy and being out amongst the people thing is going to last. I'll see you guys later. Bye, you guys.